Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tristan Plunkett.
And I'm Rachel White. Welcome to the Center County Report. We begin with winter weather, another storm on the way to Center County just in time for the weekend. Travis Patterson is live outside Innovation Park with the latest on what we can expect. Travis?
Thanks, Rachel. There is a winter storm watch in effect for Center County from Saturday morning through Sunday morning. Right now, it's cold, sitting in the low 20s, but when those winds whip around, it feels like the single digits. So a lot of cold air in place for the storm this weekend. If we take a look at the radar, not much going on right now across Pennsylvania, just some light snow showers across the northern tier of the state. But if you look out west, there is a storm brewing in the south central plains that will race toward the mid-Atlantic region for this weekend, and that will bring some very disruptive snows to the state, a good hefty amount here in Center County. I'll have the details coming up, guys.
A teenager from Mill Hall is recovering after a bear attack on a family farm. It happened on Tuesday in Porter Township. Police say 18-year-old Camille Bomboy suffered bites to her arms and shoulders and a deep cut on her head. She was hunting deer when 3 black bear cubs ran past her and a large bear began to charge. Her stepfather was able to eventually scare off the bear.
Route 322 is clear today after a serious 3-car crash left 3 women injured. It happened just south of Phillipsburg in Rush Township yesterday. Police say the car went off the road and hit a tree head-on in front of a home. The driver and a passenger were airlifted to a hospital. The other person went by ambulance. Police are still investigating the crash.
And police are still looking for a suspect after 3 burglaries on the Penn State campus earlier this week. All of them happened in the area of Pollock Halls. The first in Beaver Hall, where a student reported an iPhone and wallet stolen. The second was in Shunk Hall, where the thief took a laptop and charger. And the third happened in Stevens Hall, where someone stole a laptop as well. Police believe the burglaries might be related since the 3 residence halls are close to each other and all happened in unlocked rooms.
Smokers in Center County will soon need to take an extra step before they light up. The Board of Commissioners recently voted to ban smoking and tobacco use on any property owned or leased by the county. Some of the banned properties include the county courthouse and the Willowbank building in Bellefonte. This ban is part of an effort to promote wellness in Center County. The goal is to encourage residents to make healthier lifestyle choices.
It's not just a conversation about not smoking, but about exercising, eating right, knowing what's in your food, supporting local businesses by going to farmers markets. So it's an overall conversation.
The smoking ban is scheduled to go into effect on April 1st of next year.
The U.S. House avoided another government shutdown last night by passing a new budget. The agreement sets overall spending levels for the current budget year and the one that begins in October 2014. The measure will reduce the deficit by $23 billion over the next 10 years. Speaker John Boehner criticized the Tea Party groups that he believes delayed a bipartisan agreement and almost caused another shutdown.
It comes to a point when some people step over the line. When you criticize something and you have no idea what you're criticizing, it undermines your credibility.
The plan now makes its way to the Senate, where it will be voted on next week.
A week-long goodbye to former South African President Nelson Mandela continues in his home country and here in Center County. Students at Penn State held a candlelight vigil this week to remember Mandela. Students talked about what Mandela's life and legacy means to them.
Thank you, Nelson Mandela, for everything you have done, and just how one person could be such a great leader. And, that's very inspiring to me personally. I hope that the Penn State community takes away from that to say that I could be a great leader as well in the future.
Mandela's body is lying in state until Sunday. He will then be buried in his home village of Coonew.
Tomorrow marks the 1-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting in Connecticut. Reporter Caroline Goggin is here with the story of a Penn Stater who's from Newtown and the effect that day had on so many other communities. Caroline?
Thanks, Tristan. People say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but for many, these pictures left them speechless. Children running scared, a school under attack, families left to grieve for 26 loved ones lost. I looked back at the tragedy this week and some changes here in our area to safeguard children. It was a devastating day for the people of Newtown, Connecticut, a close-knit community struck by tragedy.
It's really cute. Everyone knows each other, and it's just nothing bad has ever happened, to be honest, and that's why it was so shocking.
Penn State student Kristen Stoller grew up in Newtown and even attended summer camp at Sandy Hook Elementary. When she heard the news, she was in complete shock. When she returned home only a few days later, the shock turned into grief.
I would be around town doing errands, and I'd say every hour we'd pull over for a hearse for another funeral to go by, and that was the scariest part for me because I just sat in my car and would pull the side of the road and just start crying because you'd see these little cars and you'd know what was in them.
The effects of the Newtown tragedy were felt in State College too, especially hitting home at local schools.
I mean, it was a devastating day, I think, for all in education and really everyone in the country. But certainly here, the primary goal is the well-rounded education of our students, but very close to that is the safety and security of our students.
State College Area School District has since updated its emergency operation plan to what it calls an all hazards plan. Along with key steps for dealing with any in-school emergency, there's another feature too.
What you could refer to as maybe a panic button. And that is something that was put into place most directly because of Sandy Hook, where each of the front offices would have access to direct communication with the police force.
Steps to keep kids safe after a terrible day no one will ever forget.
It really does destroy a community. And I think that my town has done a really good job of building itself back up. But it's always going to be there. It's always going to be the first thing people think of when I tell them where I'm from. And nothing's going to change that unless we try and change it.
Penn State students will hold a vigil tomorrow night at 7 on the steps of Old Main to mark the one-year anniversary. 26 chairs will be placed on the stairs to remember the lives lost that day.
Thanks, Caroline. You know, a year later, it still really hurts to think about.
Definitely. We'll have to keep the victims' families in our thoughts.
Absolutely. And coming up after the break, we take a look into a local post office and how one popular mailman is helping to relieve the stress of shipping packages this holiday season. Welcome back to the Center County Report. The latest flu map from the Centers for Disease Control shows Pennsylvania only has sporadic cases of the flu right now. But reporter Jenna Abate says that could change soon, and Center County health experts want you to be ready.
It's back, the time of year that everyone hates, at least when it comes to germs.
The influenza is sporadic. It's a swine flu strain that we're seeing most of. Other parts of the country, though, are really starting to see a lot more flu activity, especially in the south.
There's no doubt about it. The seasons have definitely changed, and if you're not careful, you may end up sick. It's time to gear up for flu season.
Well, right now in Pennsylvania, we're not in the thick of it. We're still seeing a lot of head colds and mild bronchitis like that as well.
So that got me thinking, how can I get myself ready and protected against the flu?
Flu vaccine is one of the best things to do. It helps give you immunity to the strains that are around. And it's very important that people consider vaccination if they're in high-risk groups. So there is no real substitute for having a flu vaccine.
I was afraid she was going to say that. I'm squeamish like some of Dr. Devan's patients, so I asked her if some at-home remedies would help prevent getting the flu.
Take care of yourself, eat well, cover your coughing and sneezing if you are sick. If you are sick, stay home. Try to avoid, class and other people as well.
Across the board, doctors would agree that sometimes the simplest medicine is often the best medicine.
Hand washing is a great way to prevent getting all kinds of infectious diseases, including influenza.
To avoid that needle, I'm going to start washing my hands a lot more. In State College, I'm Jenna Abate for the Center County Report.
If you're thinking about getting vaccinated, local pharmacies like CVS have flu shots available, and you don't need an appointment. And now over to Travis with the weather.
We have two disturbances affecting the Commonwealth this weekend, and Mother Nature will be throwing at us all types of precipitation. The first disturbance will be today into tonight, and the key here is Centre County is above the freezing mark, so that's why we've been seeing all this rain earlier this morning and early afternoon, but there is cold air off to our north and west, and that has already dominated and changed over to snow northwestern counties of here. And we'll continue to see the cold air eating away at the warmth and a gradual changeover from rain to sleet and then snow for tonight. We could pick up around 2 to 3 inches of snow and some sleet mixed in with that. So a very messy commute for this evening and some slick roads out there. But Saturday we will have a bit of a break with some dry conditions and even some sun, but it will be cold out there, and that will provide the next setup for our next storm, which comes Sunday night into Monday. Sunday, we'll start out the day with some snow showers across the county around lunchtime, And then as we go into the evening hours Sunday night, some warmer air spreads up above the Commonwealth, and that'll melt the snow, and we'll see some rain, but then that rain will freeze once it hits surfaces, and some ice pellets are expected Sunday night into Monday morning. So the first round will bring some snow, and then we'll have ice accumulation on top of that snow, maybe 1/4 of an inch across the county, even some locations picking up 1/2 inch of ice on top of all that snow. So a very dangerous travel condition setting up from Sunday night into Monday. There will likely be delays for Monday morning, but looking ahead to next week, once all that messy weather gets out of our region, we have the cold Arctic chill settling in. Our highs Tuesday through Thursday will be in the 20s, and our overnight lows will dip down into the teens, even some single digits waking up to on Wednesday morning, but conditions do improve as we head to the end of the week with some sun returning and back to average.
So we've braved the cold so far. It seems like December is really about to start hitting Center County.
Oh, definitely. A very messy weekend indeed. Do have that snow brush and some ice scrapers handy, or just stay off the roads altogether.
We'll have to try and keep warm. Thank you, Travis. Since our recent visit to Tussey Mountain, the new snow machines are officially up and running. Reporter Molly Cochran gives us a closer look at snowmaking season and our winter outlook.
For over 50 years, Tussey Mountain has provided skiers in Center County with close-to-home ski slopes to enjoy the winter season. Within 1 week, the mountain has gone from no snow at all to this winter wonderland. An early season snowstorm dropped a little over an inch of snow at the mountain. And thanks to new snowmaking machines called Ricos and the early snow, Tussey was able to open early this season. Near perfect weather conditions recently helped.
Clear, starlit, cold, crisp, low humidity, dry nights is the ideal time to be making snow.
Although snowmaking machines are essential for a good season here, ski slopes need help from natural snow. For Tussey, Mother Nature can be a marketing technique.
Well, of course, we hope to get natural snow mainly so people have it in their backyards and get excited about winter.
Natural snow, unfortunately, can't be controlled with a flick of a switch. AccuWeather expert Paul Paskaloff talked with us about the snow expected for this season.
Late January into February and then early March are definitely a good period that we're going to be in, I think, to get some good snow and good skiing in. And so I think I'd say keep those slopes open through March because the opportunities will stay with us into March.
Despite the potentially positive outlook for natural snow this season, our central Pennsylvania weather can be very unpredictable.
Skiers today, with the weather trends we have, you either have to continue to invest in more state-of-the-art snowmaking machinery and into the infrastructure of your resort or ski area, or you won't make it.
Thanks to investors, Tussey Mountain is in the second year of a 3 to 4 year snowmaking improvement program with hopes of improving all areas of the mountain, including the snow school and food services. For the Center County Report, I'm Molly Cochran.
The slopes will be open this weekend on Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And now over to John with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports now, after finishing 2013 on a winning note, the focus has already shifted to next year for Penn State football. But the Nittany Lions will be without 2 top assistants. Plus, Penn State wrestling has a big home matchup in a unique venue, but will be without one of its All-Americans. That and more up in sports.
You can hear Spookhaven before you can see it. A haunted house in Clinton County with a colorful or make that frightful cast of characters.
You're gonna maybe run into our crazed doctor and some specimens on the way, and there's been one guy running around that's kind of, I think he's like a cockroach and half human.
Here at Spookhaven, it's not just these guys that you have to look out for. In fact, there's a little something extra here.
This was an old school that's been abandoned for a while. We came to find out there was a fire here where the building was a total loss. And there was a janitor that we found out about that knew the whole story of the building, who has since passed. And that was confirmed by a clairvoyant lady that we had brought in here because we had heard the building was haunted. And we come to find out that we have a guardian of our building still.
That's right, as if the cast of 65 creepy creatures that reside at Spookhaven don't scare you. Some real live ghosts that live there surely will.
Don't believe me? Just ask the characters behind the screams about their own encounters with the janitor ghost.
I went to go down the hallway and I saw him walk across the hallway, like out the wall where there's nothing you can walk out, and I was just like, not doing it, turned around and ran.
I'm Jenna Abate
for the Center County Report.
Alash travels all over the world to perform their art known as throat singing. The trio sings stories ranging from pretty girls to horses to a father's ode to his son, accompanied by traditional Tuvan instruments.
You as artists chose to not westernize but use Western influence in your art, and I was wondering if that was met with any opposition from traditionalists.
Just on the internet a couple weeks ago, there was some Tuvan guy who puts on sunglasses and he throat sings a song by Adele. People are doing all kinds of things with it, and people in Tuva are generally proud to see that their music is going out and getting fans among other people, and people feel free to experiment because the roots of the music are so solid.
The members of Alash have mastered the technique of singing multiple pitches at once. With each style representing a different aspect of nature. Jenna Spinelli, publicity coordinator and volunteer for the Acoustic Brew series, knows that welcoming the group back will draw a big crowd.
It was definitely one of the larger crowds that I've seen, and a lot of our volunteers who have been with the organization for a long time said it was a huge turnout as well. So we're really excited that we were able to bring them back again tonight.
The seats quickly filled to hear the popular act. And with each performance, Alash hopes to leave a lasting impact on their audiences.
So there's no one specific song in general that we really relate to. It's more of our overall mission of continuing to bring forth with our own voices the music that our ancestors left for us.
For the Center County Report, I'm Tori Singer.
The new university slogan, Penn State Lives Here, hangs outside the Petit Library. But myself and the others at the Center County Report want to know what else lives here. This is Betsy Aardsma. In 1969, she was a grad student at Penn State doing research in the library. But on the evening of November 28th, her life was cut short. Someone murdered Betsy between rows 50 and 51 in a basement area known as the Stacks. Today, a 45-year investigation lives among the shelves.
And, as a kid, you assume the cops always catch the bad guys and things like that. So I started wondering if that was true or if it was an urban legend or, what the deal was.
Derek Sherwood has spent years researching what happened to Betsy and why the investigation has produced few clues, fewer witnesses, and no close to this case. Today, students only know the legend of the girl who died in the Stacks. Sherwood claims few know the real story.
The university should not be held blameless. They pretty much push this under the rug. You've got college officials reporting concern to a university attorney or to higher up. University attorney says, yeah, we'll deal with it, and it's never talked about again.
Learning the details about the case wasn't easy. University officials, Pennsylvania state troopers, and even Petit Library staff refused to return our calls about the case.
The Betsy story is still a black eye for the university because it's never been solved. You don't talk to people in the university about it in the same way. Some people will tell you about it, some people will ignore it.
Something that isn't easily ignored is the eerie feeling you get when you enter the Stacks, and many attribute that to the fact that perhaps the ghost of Betsy Aardsma has never left.
I mean, we have gotten some activity down in the lower section of the Stacks where the murder occurred. She has responded to questions.
For the Center County Report, I'm Jenna Abate. Center County might as well be called Creepy County. You just gotta know where to look. This quiet road holds a piece of history, a colonial-themed restaurant that serves food, drinks, and an interesting form of entertainment.
There was a table just like this in the other room. They were sitting reading their menus, and there was a beer place right here, and the beer tipped over and onto the floor.
Every single time I'd reset a table, the silverware on the one side was always moved off the napkins.
Duffy's Tavern has been around since 1819, and many characters have passed through its doors. but some still stick around. Are the ghosts here like they're pranksters, it sounds like?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, they don't do anything like harsh or mean. They just freak you out a little bit.
You heard right. Along with the drink, you can experience the paranormal. According to Tracy, the ghosts seem to prefer only certain rooms. The Pine Room, the Loft, and one other room. Here at Duffy's, inside the Gold Room, is where the most paranormal activity has been happening. Rumor has it one of the ghosts, whose nickname is Rosie, is still young at heart.
She just comes around, she laughs. I mean, we've heard like footprints, like I've heard movements upstairs in the brick room before.
One waitress told us that the ghosts love to pull pranks on the staff. In fact, one night a ghost in a yellow dress had followed her around as she served all her tables. However, staff and customers say the good food, atmosphere, and the occasional specter doesn't scare them from coming to Duffy's.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. No, I think ghosts are fun.
In Boalsburg, for the Center County Report, I'm Jenna Abate.